Hello, happy Friday. How's it going, everybody? Happy Friday. I just had a job that ended early, so I have a little bit of free time before I'm going to go out and probably run some errands, take some me time. But I thought I would just come on here and hang out, see how everybody's doing. Don't know how long I'll stay on. It's either just going to be a quick hello, have a good weekend, hope you've had a good week type thing, or we can, dive in and talk about whatever you all are feeling like talking about today. I've had a rough week. I have been feeling off lately and I have not been motivated to create content about abuse. I've just been feeling really just like um yeah, I've just been feeling like not motivated to do that and kind of just like sick of it. I was advised to move some of my content over to Facebook, so I did. And my Facebook just kind of like blew up, which is awesome. Like cool, but everyone on Facebook is horrible. Like everyone is just so rude. And so I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Uh I don't know. I've always said that I would keep sharing about abuse until I didn't. I feel like I'll know when the time is right for me to bow out and let other people carry the torch, but I'm always here to hang out and get to know you all and talk about fun things. So whatever you're all feeling. Hi Kara, how's it going? Um as usual with my lives, I don't have a specific agenda. I don't have anything that you know, I guess I could do that, but I don't usually come on and talk about like, oh, today we're going to do love bombing. Today we're going to do, whatever. It's just kind of what comes up, what you guys are feeling, what you want to talk about. I will say that if you don't know, I am hosting a trip to Greece next summer. It's going to be August of 2023. Um, and the first 10 people who sign up to join me on that trip get an early bird discount. The trip is for survivors and LGBTQ folks, and my goal is to like create a safe space for people to travel who might not otherwise feel safe, because a lot of us have like a fear of the unknown, like what's going to happen. I want to go to Europe, but like what's going to go on. Um, and so yeah, I'm really excited about hosting that. I'm trying to actually add another one, another trip, maybe even two, just depending on how the signups for the Greece trip go. But yeah, I just want to put that out there. If anyone wants to talk about that, has any questions, I am happy to talk about that as well. Let's see what else. I'm currently trying to decide if I should plan a winter vacation with my son or not, because it just started raining today. We had our first rainy day in Washington. And it's sunny now already, but I was already like, oh no, I need to find a place to go. It's going to be sunny so I can get out of here. Good luck, friend. Thanks. Hey, Kat, how's it going? I had a job that finished early, so I thought I would come on here and just hang out for a little bit. It is like prime me time right now, so I might not stay on for long. Um, I've been home with my son all week, and my actual job today canceled, so I picked up a work from home job, and the sitter is here, and so I'm gonna take some free time. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna run some errands and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought I would come on and just like touch base, see how everyone's doing, see if anyone has any questions, anything they want to talk about. Hi, girl. I just got out of a toxic, manipulative relationship. He already replaced me in a week after years of love bombing and giving me the silent treatment whenever he didn't get what he wanted. Your shorts helped me so much. You are strong. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me, especially because I started this live being like, oh, I don't know if I'm still going to talk about abuse anymore. Like, I'm really, really, really just not feeling it. I'm happy to talk about it on lives, and every Monday on Instagram, I also do Q&As, and a lot of people feel really safe doing the Q&As on Mondays because it's anonymous. So like, I'm still going to be here. I'm still a survivor. I'm still going to advocate for survivors and, share things that help. But I just right now am like not feeling it. So it seems like every time that I'm feeling like this, people come on and tell me things like that. And it recharges my batteries. But I'm just following my gut, I guess, in terms of when to actually create content and when to be like, I'll just be over here. How are you doing? I'm good. How are you? Ooh. I think my favorite time to go live, Kat, maybe agree with me or don't, is like 9 p.m. Because that one night that I went live at 9 was just like awesome. There were like tons of people in from Facebook. Also, hi everyone. If you're here from Facebook and YouTube, I see you. Feel free to ask me anything, tell me anything. I don't have like any, agenda for these lives. I'm just having my like 90th coffee of the day, hanging out for a bit, trying to get the energy to go around some errands by myself, which I should be like hopping in the car, getting out of here. But I've been really low energy this week. So that's funny because that's midnight my time. People should be asleep. Was that what time I went live the other night? When it was really good and it went on forever. So that means you were up till like at least probably 1:30 or 2 a.m. Hi, welcome in. Too much coffee. I know, but I switched to decaf. I usually have two espressos in the morning, and then I have two. Oh my gosh, my hair is no, okay. Sorry about that. Pretend that didn't happen. What is that? And then I switched to decaf, and I think that the reason why I've been having so much, like, I just have like like espresso machine, and I have pods, and I will drink like several decaf coffees. And I think it's because I want something, but I'm not drinking alcohol anymore. I'm like, I want something that's not water, although I try to drink enough water. And so I think the decaf has like really helped. I've had this happen before where I've like upped my coffee intake when I've cut back on alcohol, and now I'm not drinking alcohol like at all. Um, I don't know if I never will again. Like, I like to have some when I'm traveling or like visiting people. But I don't drink at home and I don't go out or anything like that. So I feel like I just like drink coffee all throughout the day just to like have my mind like having something good. Cause I got that ADHD. I'm an Enneagram 7. So like it's like there's gotta be something good. There's gotta be something to look forward to. Like, what is it? It's either sugar or coffee. Yes, girl, just follow your gut. How is your son and your dog? They're both great. My son is super happy right now because, like I said, the babysitter's here. He's been asking for her all week. Usually she comes like 2 days a week, but like Wednesdays for sure. And this week I didn't work. I was supposed to still be in Spain up until this week. And then, so he hasn't seen her and he's been asking every single day, when is she coming? When is she coming? And she finally came today and I disappeared. I don't know if you can hear them, but I disappeared into the room for a little bit. And I came out and he was like, Mama, are you done with work? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, but Melly just got here. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go. I'm going to do a live really quick. I didn't say that. I'm going to go do a quick live. I'm going to see how the people are on this Friday afternoon. And then I'm going to go and run some errands. Cause like I said, I haven't had any time to myself this week. My son's dad was traveling. So I am a single parent, but I was like single parenting it for a couple of days. I'm like, I'm going to go to the coffee shop or the bookstore and just like walk around and like be alone. Um, but yeah, he's really good. He's super happy. We just got some like Halloween decorations, like fall decorations and stuff. And I don't like to have a lot of stuff around because like we have a small house and I don't like clutter. But he just loves it so much. Like we decorated his room with like the stretchy little spider web thingies. And it's just like by his window, like we stretched it out and like hung it up. And he was like decorating it. Like he's like hanging his like army men and toys and bugs and stuff in it. So it's the little things. He's super happy. The dog is somewhere. Actually, oh, she's knocking on the door. I'm gonna grab her. She's knocking with her knuckles. Come on in, Pat. People are asking about you. People want to know how you're doing. Do you want to come tell everyone how you're doing? Good girl. There she is. Anything you want to share? You need a haircut. You have a scraggly eye. Pip! Pip! She's like, what? Okay, see ya. What you doing? You don't want to be on camera today? You just want to watch me? Okay, she's just going to watch me. So yeah, thanks for asking. They're doing really well. How's Lucy? Lucy's okay. She's I finally have her because I was traveling for a while. Cat, you know this, but she has to be on like kidney. If you don't know, I have a very, very old schnauzer, and she did not fare well when she was left with my abuser, which I it was a risk that I took that I don't love to have had to take. Um, but I finally have her like consistently on her like kidney food, and so she's looking good, but she is like deaf and blind and special. She's something else. She's just like it's a little old. She's wearing a sweater right now. I call it her emotional support sweater because she's like calmer when she's wearing it, but she's good. Everyone's good and safe and happy mostly. I have my days, but yesterday we went down to the beach and had a fire and we made s'mores and we actually saw orcas. There was a pod of orcas off in the water, which was really cool because I've only ever seen them on a boat. Like I've gone out on a boat and seen the orcas while I was on a boat, but they were just like feeding um, off in the distance, and that was really cool. That's something that's really cool about living in Washington. And sometimes I forget, like it's about to get really nasty out, and I'm going to be down for a while, but I often forget how beautiful it is and how lucky we are to live in such a place where we have mountains up the road, we have the ocean up the road, we have forests, we have pretty much everything. We also have a lot of rain. So, yeah, I'm trying to really appreciate what we have here. Hello, hello. I saw the pictures, it looked beautiful. Yeah, it was really nice. I wish we would have been like maybe like 15, 20 minutes earlier because we only saw like the tail end of like the sunset before it was, it was gone, but it was really nice. Wow, that sounds cool. Yeah, it was really cool. Like I said, it really like it reminded me of like, oh crap, like how lucky are we to live here? And like how lucky is my son? Like I grew up in the cornfields of Indiana. And I probably didn't know what an orca was till I was like 19. I'm just kidding. Like he's just playing on the beach, 4 years old, and like, oh yeah, orca whales, cool. It's pretty lucky. I think about that a lot. Like he's like growing up in just the coolest place. I'm like, dang dude. Do, 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 do. Absorb the scenery before winter comes. I know, and then you like forget. Like I always forget when I'm driving. Like I can see Mount Baker and Mount uh Rainier. I almost said Everest. I can just see Everest from my window. Mount Baker and Mount Rainier. And like when you're driving, a lot of times like you can't see them because it is so nasty here. So then one day it'll be sunny and you'll like make a turn down a road and you're like, holy crap, there's a huge snow covered mountain there. It's so awesome. But yeah, it's sad that we don't get to see it all the time, but also it really does help you appreciate it because I feel like a lot of like there's people who live in these houses up on the hill and they have these beautiful balconies with the views of the water and the mountains in the distance and like big mountain in the distance and all that stuff. But like you never see them outside because I feel like a lot of people they want this house, they want this life, they want it in this place, they want all this stuff, but then they have it every day and they forget to appreciate it. So hey, my first time catching you on TikTok. I usually catch you on Instagram. Hey, well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you caught me. I've been doing a lot of Instagram lives lately. I feel like I say that every time I come on, like, I haven't been live. I haven't been live. But really, I don't go live that often. And I have to pick between Instagram and TikTok. And lately, TikTok has been, it's like, where do I feel more comfortable or more welcome or more like people want to hang out with me? Like, where am I being chosen? No, I'm just kidding. But really, it's like where do people actually want to hang out with me? And then that's where I go. So she's adorable. Oh, thank you. I'm glad to see your freedom and wish you all the happiness. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Can't wait for spring already. And even though it's only fall, I feel that way too. Like I'm really excited for some things in 2023 and I'm making some plans and I'm like, I'm planning like my summer trip with my son already. Like I just wrote down kind of some of the places I want to go. But then I'm like, no, because then he's going to be 5. Like he's going to be 5 in January. And I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for a 5-year-old. I just look at him and I'm like, I don't know. It's just life is happening so quickly. And so yeah, I'm trying not to like think too far forward or really, you know, get too focused on the future because man, time is precious. What else, y'all? Feel free to say hello. Tell me where you're from. If this is your first time in here, let me know. I'm glad you're here. And ask me anything. Tell me anything. Thank you so much. You gave me so much insight on what's going on. Thank you so much for saying that. I kind of said this earlier in the live, but I've been feeling really kind of just like discouraged or just like blah about creating content. I started sharing on Facebook and my Facebook kind of blew up and like the videos are really taking off there, but that also means that I'm getting a lot of comments there and a lot of them are horrible. Horrible. Like they're the worst of any comment. Like I got some nasty comments on TikTok when some of my videos go viral, but Facebook horrible. So, on one hand I'm like, well, I don't really care about what you say as long as I'm helping people then it's worth it, but it's also just kind of exhausting. And then the other thing is that I'm seeing like today I opened my phone and this girl was like, I don't remember what the trend was, but she was like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't supposed to do this," and then, "Oh, I just keep dating narcissistic women." And on one hand, like that's true. Like you can absolutely have several narcissists in your life, like narcissistic parent, sibling, partner. Oh, I figured it out. Like that absolutely is a real thing. But I'm getting really discouraged by the fact that like now that more and more people are talking about abuse, it seems like everyone's making content. And I'm not saying that anyone's lying, and I'm not saying that it's it's not real and that people aren't having horrible relationships and being abused and all of this stuff, but it's discouraging because I do feel like now people are just taking it and running with it and throwing it around like it's nothing, like people do with ADHD and OCD and all of this stuff. People just like learn a new word and then just throw it out there, and it makes me not want to contribute to, like, I don't want to create content and then have people take it and be like, okay, well, now I'm going to talk about that. Now I'm going to call my ex narcissistic because I'm not saying that that's what people do, but like, I really don't want to contribute to that because I want people to be able to find like authentic, helpful content for abuse recovery. And I don't want to be giving anyone like ideas of like things to, I don't know if I'm describing this well. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I don't want to give people fuel to like talk about their exes that they're just angry with and use all of these terms that I'm using and that we are using as educators and things like that. And it's really discouraging to me because I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. I hope that made sense. I'm in Canada beside Minnesota border. We've been busy stock car racing in Wisconsin, Dakotas. Oh, cool. Hi from Kenya. Hi, welcome in. Yup, and trolls take over TikTok. I know what you mean. Yeah, they do. I noticed the other day in pictures he's getting so big. I know. I'm sorry you have to go through that to help people. I hope you know you really do help people leave. Thank you so much. Like I said, it really does mean a lot to me. I'm just really struggling right now with all of it. But hey, from the UK, your TikToks are so relatable. Thank you so much and welcome in. And I hope you're doing well. Ah, you're the best. Oh, thanks. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said to deserve that, but thank you. You all are the best. I would not be here if it wasn't for so many of you. Like I don't mean like not be here, but not be here in front of you if it wasn't for so many people trusting me and supporting me and um giving me space to share about whatever I want to share about. Like today I just did a transition of me wearing a onesie because I didn't feel like I think I did do an abuse video, but it was about people saying that's not abuse or whatever, and not being like, here's what love bombing looks like or whatever. But I just was like, this is me in a onesie. And the algorithm does not support me talking about whatever I want to, but I really do appreciate the people who are just here for all of it. It means a lot to me. So you've helped me a lot. Found you just before I left. Oh, good. Okay, good. That's makes me feel really happy, and I'm glad you found me. One thing I miss is a lot of content is the dangers of leaving a narcissist. Oh, yeah. I have made some content about that. I have made at least one podcast episode about that. Um, it's really hard to talk about because I think a lot of times, like, I even downplay my own, like, the danger that myself and my son were in when I left. And so it is another one of those things. Like, there's certain things that I can talk about. Like, I can tell you what love bombing looks like. I can tell you what it looked like for me. I can tell you all of this stuff. We can talk about trauma. We can talk about all of it. But there's certain things, like, in terms of my experience, that are harder to talk about because it's like if I talk about it, it's like I'm there again. Um, and yeah, it is really hard. You do see a lot of people creating content about like how to leave, how to break a trauma bond, and all that is super, super important. And I have some of that content too, but you're like, it is very, very, you're right. It is very, very hard and dangerous to get away. Your honesty and sincerity means a lot when you are upfront. Oh, thank you. That's that's always been my goal with my account, which was really hard to do because I was on Instagram at least. I had about we had 18,000 followers when I left my abuser. So I couldn't be my most authentic self, but I tried to show up authentically in whatever way that I could be. Um, but that's always been really important to me because like, why am I here if I'm not being real? Why would I want people to follow me and like me for something that I'm not? I don't want you to follow me because you think I have my life together and because you think that like I always dress really well, my hair and makeup are done really well, and my kid is perfect and I'm perfect and all my relationships are like why would I want you here? Because you don't actually like me for who I am. Your video with your reaction when you had the tray of fruit was so relatable. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe how that video has probably 55 million views at this point and counting. And I've told this story before, but I really never thought that would happen. I thought, oh, this is going to be a little 2,000 views, but maybe it's 2,000 of the right people who really need to see it, and it'll help. 5 people get out. Um, so pretty crazy. Someday I want someone to design me like a shirt that's something to do with the blueberries, and like now I can eat my blueberries in peace or something. That'd be fun. You're I already did that one. It is the one thing keeping me from it. Out of it now after 3 years, but found your TikTok afterwards, and it's so good you're helping others. Thank you so much for telling me that. It means a lot to me. It really does. I can only imagine keeping your children safe is the most important thing. It is, and it's really sad and hard when you didn't realize when you were in it, like how much danger the child was in and how much danger you were in, and that like the child could have lost the parent could have lost a child. Like it's really, really hard to think about. But also it is very important because if I can help one of you to safely get out because I warned you of how dangerous it is, then, it's worth it. Exactly. Dealing with emotional abuse right now, just kicked her out, getting the guilt-ridden messages as we speak. Is it safe to block? Is it safe to block her? Can you block her? Because that's the best thing to do if you're not in danger. It's so sad to begin to see the way kids were affected, so much guilt. Yeah, it is because especially like when you're in it, like for me, it was like he was a burden, he was the problem, and then oh, I love him so much, don't leave. I'm crying. Even though I've never cried about anything else ever. Oh my God, why is he here? Oh my God, I can't live without him. Just back and forth, back and forth. Let me help. Let me do all this stuff. Let me, like you need me, he needs me, blah blah blah. He's horrible, you're horrible, blah blah blah. And it's so hard, and it's so hard to understand, and like I don't know if I'll ever know like how he was affected. I'm just so glad we have a name for them. I never knew what to call him or his behavior. I tell people he's a narcissist now, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're a very strong person, you're helping me. Thank you. um Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And I know what you mean. It's nice to have answers. But it does also scare me that people are going to like, this is just what I was saying before, is that people are going to see one or two things about narcissism and then just pop a label on their ex who's not a narcissist but has poor communication skills or cheated on them because they're an a-hole or whatever, but like they're not a narcissist. But I am afraid that now so many people are just like, I'll take that label and slapping it on there and like throwing it around. I just see so much content about it now from like random people who aren't like, it's fine. Like, I want people to share their stories and I want people to have a voice and all that stuff. But like, it's like, your content is all about this, and then you're randomly throwing about this thing, like calling your ex a narcissist. And like, again, I'm not saying that that's not what's going on, but it's like, please just don't use that word unless you mean it. Like, Hi, Samantha. Welcome in. Yep. If only it sets in a few people's minds, then you have succeeded. Yes. Thank you. Were you ever scared of losing your son? Yes. I got divorced from her 2 weeks ago, but still feel horrible about the injustice. And that feeling probably will linger. That feeling really, really hangs on. So I'm sorry that you had to feel that, but also I'm really glad that you got divorced and that you're free. Yes, agreed. I also just say abuser or refer to them as narcissistic tendencies. Yeah, I have pulled back from using that word for sure. And it makes me wonder, like, if that's the right thing to do. I don't know what the right thing is, because I think it's really important, and I think it's a very real and horrible thing that needs to be learned about. Um, but it scares me. It really does scare me that it's going to lose its meaning. It's going to lose the punch. It's 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 a word that comes with like a 1-2 punch, and I'm worried that it's just going to be like grapes, truck, fishing net, narcissist, cup, because everyone's using it now. I do believe that there's way more people that have narcissistic tendencies and way more people with NPD than the numbers show or ever will show, because they don't get treatment. And because there are still a lot of people who don't really know what it is. So I think the numbers are a lot higher, and I think that we want to believe people and what they're going through and what they're sharing and all of that stuff. But again, like, too loose of a word, people using it too often. It's really, really, really hard. And like, as a survivor, it's really hard to see it happening and knowing that, like, I feel like we were making traction. We were like, I'm not like this is about me and I was doing everything. It's not like I was seeing it on TikTok and I was seeing people get help, and I think people are still getting help. But then it was like all of a sudden it was like TikTok trend and we're losing traction because now nobody's going to take it seriously. That's my fear. No one's going to take it seriously. Professionals aren't going to get trained on narcissism because they're going to be like, that's a TikTok trend. Yeah, narcissism is real, but it's a TikTok trend. Like, it doesn't really happen. Um, People are just talking about it for views, and that's really scary. And this is the first time that I'm like talking about these feelings. I have kind of been keeping this in lately. So thank you all for listening. It's been a year since my wife divorced me. She's a narcissist and I still haven't healed. Yeah, it takes a long time. I've noticed people really do not take emotional abuse seriously. They do not leave physical scars. And people downplay physical abuse as well. I downplayed it personally in what I experienced, but then like if I make a video tomorrow and I say so I'm going to trigger warning, I'm going to give an example of something that I experienced. Um if I made a video tomorrow, and I have made very, very few, but I have mentioned this in a couple of videos. If I come out and I say, say I'm like doing it to some audio and I'm like, dum, 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 oh, and then they held a pillow over my face, I would get comments to say, I'm so sorry that happened. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. I'm so glad you're alive. I'm so glad you're here. And I would also get probably equal or more comments saying, that's not even that bad. I'm sure you were still breathing. I'm sure they just did it to shut you up because you're probably the narcissist yourself. Like, people don't take it seriously. People don't stop in their tracks and say, that is horrendous. Your son could have lost his mom. Your mom could have lost her daughter. This is so serious and horrible, and it needs to be taken serious. And that is abuse, and that's dangerous, all of that stuff. But it's like, oh my God, you're exaggerating. Oh, you're making it up. Oh, I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they just like threw a pillow in your direction. And people will make excuses for it. Or people will say, like, you did something to them um, to deserve that, or whatever. And that's physical abuse. And then on top of that, right, people don't take emotional abuse seriously. People don't think it's real. People don't think it's dangerous. People don't think it's like something that you can't get away from. Like, well, if they're doing X, Y, Z, just leave. Well, it doesn't work because now you're in a trauma bond because you've been abused for so long. And it's really, really sad. Um, and like I said, I'm seeing like the Gabby Petito Foundation, like they're out there raising awareness, they're raising money to donate to the hotline.org. So there's enough people to answer the phones for people who really need it. And then there's people equally doing the work to continue to muddle. Why did my brain just glitch? Muddy the waters? What's the actual term? Muddy. Hmm. That got weirder than it needed to. Okay. Long-time listener, first time writing. I so appreciate and value your content. I feel like there was some kind of calm, terrified high once I knew I needed to get out. But now I am coming down from that and feel like I can't find a way to refocus on work and life. Everything was so turned upside down. I can't remember what right side up is like. I had the same thing. You were like, once you're safe, because the beginning is very scary. Once you're safe, you're like in a high. I remember so I went home and I broke the trauma bond, which means it was like coming off of a heroin addiction where I felt like I couldn't get up. I was like physically sick. It was horrible. That was just a couple of days, to be honest with you. And then I was up and I was making TikTok content and I was starting the podcast and I was planning a trip to Europe and I was hanging out with my family. I was also just like with my family. And then I went to England and I was traveling around England. And then I went to Spain. I was traveling around Spain. And this is the gift that I gave myself and I wouldn't take it back. I absolutely am so glad that I did that. But I was on this high. And then I came back to Washington 3 months later, which I think is exactly what I needed. But the reality was there. The reality that I was healing and I was processing out loud and I was making content. I was coming on my Instagram stories and I was sharing, oh my gosh, I just realized I understood what this happened and I'm going through this and I'm dealing with that. But I had to come back and I didn't like my life. I didn't like where I lived. I didn't want to live with who I was living with, who I am living with. I didn't know what to do with my kid. I didn't know how to be a good mom. I didn't know where he needed to be, where I needed to be. And that's just the whole the reality of being with a narcissist, being with an abusive person is that your whole entire world is ripped away from you. And that might sound dramatic. Some people are like, that's so dramatic. What are you doing? Your whole entire world is turned upside down. It's like you've been hit with every natural disaster that can possibly happen. You're physically different, you're emotionally different, you probably have PTSD. There's so much going on and it's a complete remodel, recreation, starting fresh, working with what you got, adding what you can, taking away what still needs to be taken away. And it is a long, difficult process. And I still have not big ups and downs, but I have days where I'm like, yeah. And then just this week, I was like, mm. And it wasn't necessarily abuse related, about my abuser from something my abuser did or dealing with that. But it was just I'm simply not happy right now. I simply don't like where I am. I don't feel like there's anything I can do about it. Dealing with my own personal stuff, but it was a down and that happens and it's a long process. So I see you, Amelia, and thank you for sharing that with me. Also, thank you for following and listening and all of the things. I called someone a narcissist and they told me it was just a made up word. I then told them to do their own research because they told me I keep getting my information from TikTok. And that's the bad thing about TikTok. It's an incredible resource. And also, what is it even? Um, but there are tons of incredible resources out there. I have several books on my shelf that are written by people with PhDs and people. I've made content responding to people saying love bombing's not real or love bombing's not abuse, blah, blah, blah. And I pull out a book written by someone with a PhD and they simply don't respond. They don't care that you have facts, that you have proof, that there's studies, you can cite sources, you can do this, you can do that. They don't care. They don't want to know. They're not going to do their own research. And I totally agree with you being go do your research. But if you call someone out on something like that, and they don't want to know, they don't want to know. And so that's the kind of person that I'm just bye then, can you talk about the difference between no contact and ignoring? So no contact is not checking on them, not receiving information about them, not asking about them, blocking them on all social media, any Venmo, Cash App, anything that they could email, text, anything, any way that they can get through to you. If there's even a sliver of a chance that they can contact you and they want to, they will. And then that keeps you accessible for them. If they know that you're seeing what they're sending you and you're ignoring it, then they're like, oh, but they haven't blocked me yet. they haven't blocked me yet. So they're still keeping the door open. I'm still around. Um, and also for you as a survivor, if like, for example, so if I'm like, I'm not going to block this person because I want to know if they're trying to get a hold of me. That was what I first told myself in the beginning. I feel safe knowing if they're trying to get a hold of me or not. I would feel safe for knowing this. I need this for my healing. That's not true. Um, but they text me something, and I get triggered because now I'm scared, or now I'm upset, or now I saw this that I didn't want to see. Now I'm processing it. It's really going to hold you back in your healing. So going no contact is super, super important. For me, I attribute going no contact with not only my abuser, but their family, their friends, my friends that were stayed in contact with them. Anybody who knew them was washed away. And that's non-negotiable for me. So very, very important. Mental health in general is a huge problem around the world, and we need to treat it as important. I agree. Oh, I have her blocked on all social, but not text. She was texting monthly. Now over 2 months, I don't respond. It's really best to block her if you can, especially if she still is reaching out. 7 months since I left her, still struggling with CPTSD, and I was sent to deployment. It's harder here. Yeah, it's not easy to heal. Like, there's a lot of environments where it's not easy to heal. Staying in a house where you lived with someone, even if they're gone, staying in a house where maybe there's someone else around who's triggering you in the same way that you were triggered when you were with your abuser. Like, it's really, really important to be in a safe place where your nervous system is calm to heal. But obviously, not everyone has that option. And so I see you. Ay, 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 ay. I had to lie about my mental health so I could deploy, and now I'm struggling while trying to heal. Yeah, that's really hard. I'm so sorry. People do not understand. For years, I explained to my family and friends what was happening, and they didn't listen. Yeah, and it's so hard. Muddy the waters. Thank you. It's so hard because like you want the people closest to you to understand you and see you and know what you're going through, but they don't. And they can't. And that's why I think it's so important to have like support groups. And by the way, I'm hoping to set up some group coaching options for people that would be more affordable and hopefully more of like a group feeling for people. But I am waiting until I get my email that says that my portfolio was approved and that I can. If you don't know, I am a trauma recovery coach. I just don't have my certification yet. So that is something that I want to do because I think it's really, really, really important. Weird to have support while you're going through this. My therapist told me I was drinking from a tainted well. That's why this community is so essential. I love that. That's very well described. What do you do for a living? Yes, I'm an ASL interpreter. I find it hard to think about anything else. I'm not sure how to change my mindset. Hope soon. Actually, I have a course. I know someone who's doing a course. Let me see if I can get the info really quick. It's called rumination. When you first leave, you're kind of like obsessed, and it's just eating at your brain waves. Like, it's all you can think about. It's called rumination. And so let me see if I can text him. His name is Trey. His info. One second. Also, are you doing that course on rumination? Yeah, I don't know if it's something that you can do. I don't know what he's charging for it, but I recently saw that he was making a course on rumination and how to stop that never-ending spiral of just like, oh my God, what was this? Oh my God, what was that? Oh my God, did they have a new supply? Oh my God, why did they treat that person better? What did I do to deserve this? Because it really, really is a very real thing, and it's horrible. Can you show the books? Yes, I can. I don't know if I have them all in here. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. This is a very large pile. Okay. You asked for it. Are you guys sure you want this? Are you sure? All right. Why does he do this? Gendered, but still amazing. Very, very good information. Why does he do that? It is by Lundy Bancroft. It's Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men. I'm going to take a couple minutes here because I have a lot of books. I want to make sure you guys like I mean, I'm going to save these so you can go back and look, but like write these down. Trauma Stewardship, an everyday guide to caring for self while caring for others. You don't have to do this. This was for my trauma recovery coaching course. It's always a struggle to say that, but might be a good idea for just like understanding what other people are going through. Like we've just talked about how we wish our family and friends could understand like what we're describing. And of course this is going to be a lot of like, a sense that I can never do enough. Like where are these feelings coming from that we're all walking around with? This is like childhood trauma, right? The Body Keeps the Score. This is a classic. This is often recommended for trauma survivors, veterans, people with PTSD. Kind of a heavier book for me. It's a little bit harder to read books that are like, this is the study that I'm talking about, and this is the year, and this is like that. My ADHD brain is like, just tell me what you learned. Like, cite the sources in the back. So this one, a little harder for me to read, but definitely very, very important. Trauma Bond Recovery Journal. This is by Lisa Sunny. She's stronger than before on TikTok and Instagram. She is one of the people who helped me get out of my abusive relationship because I found her content. I found this journal. And it kind of like walks you through, it's 12 weeks, and she has like journal prompts in here. I'm going to read you one. I've never done this before. Week 1, day 1. What reasons do I give myself to stay in my relationship? Are these truly rational? For my son, he's attached to them. He's been with them half his life. I've already taken him from one family, and now I'm taking him from another. We used to be happy, so surely we can be happy again. I see what they would be like if they put in the work and hold out for the day they can fulfill my needs. We live together / rely on each other for a lot. We know each other's trauma, have been through a lot together. Oh, this was when I first left. How cute. I actually thought that. What does my partner tell me about our future together? I'll never find anyone else who loves me and Adler like they do. They always ask me how I would take care of Adler without them. Look at me now. I'm a year out. I should really share more of like the things that I wrote when I first left. You're welcome. A little peek into my brain, but this is very important. You can find it on Amazon or also on her website. Actually, I think I have a code for these. I'll circle back. Healing Developmental Trauma. Also, this was for my course, so don't worry about this unless you're like, you know what, we're going to skip that. Why Can't I Just Leave? This is like a top favorite of mine. As you can see, I took this on some trips, so this one's a little bit beat up. I actually was on a webinar where we interviewed the author of this book. Super awesome. This is one of the best written. I love this one. Very, very good. Complex PTSD. Complex PTSD. So if you have PTSD, if you have complex PTSD, this is a very, 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 very good book. Definitely recommend this one. Top favorite as well. Survival Guide for Toxic Narcissistic Relationships. This is by Manjit Repry. That's her name on TikTok and Instagram, by the way. It's just at Manjit Repry. This is another one that really helped me. She really helped me. Her content really helped me. I actually did a couple sessions with her when I first left, and she helped me to really fully understand the level of how much danger that I was in, how serious it was, stuff like that. So, and then I also have Recovery from Gaslighting and Narcissistic Abuse, Codependency, and Complex PTSD. Very thick book, but very good. And like, the words are not tiny. Sometimes you open a thick book and the words are tiny and you're like, that's too much. Okay. Thanks for asking. I hope that some of you are able to jot this down and that they're helpful for you. He checks everything: location, my messages, browser history, camera in the house, TikTok history. That is all abuse. That is all abuse. Go to hotline.org. It's written right there. Monitoring you, giving you no privacy, being in charge of who you talk to, everything like that is absolutely abuse and is not okay. Hey, how are you? Here from Kentucky. Hi, Alex. Welcome in. I am doing well. Oh my goodness, I missed a lot. I just missed a lot. Hey, Jackie. It's so hard for those who share custody with their abuser. Very, very hard. And I can also recommend some accounts who talk about that. I did not share with my abuser, so I'm one of the quote unquote lucky ones. Can you say some red flags? I mean, we could be here all day. Ignoring your boundaries. When you set boundaries, I always recommend. I actually just did my podcast. I skipped the podcast this week because I wasn't feeling like it, so I didn't do that. But for next week, I talked about moving quickly in relationships and how that's a sign. It's doesn't mean it's abuse, but it's a definite tactic to lead you into an abusive relationship. And so yeah, moving really quickly, needing to be together all the time in the beginning of a relationship, ignoring your boundaries, isolating you from friends and family. So very early on, if you're like, I have plans with a friend and they're like, oh, I thought we'd hang out tonight. I thought we were on the same page. I thought you really want to see me. Like, I want to see you. Uh, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot more. Took me a year to heal. I actually had to move to heal. Yeah, that's a very real thing. I am still where I was, but I'm in a much better place because I've literally left. So we broke up a little over a year ago. In a couple weeks, in a month, I'll be no contact for 1 year, which by the way, I never thought I could do when I was in it. But I have literally left this state for 90 days twice. So half of this year I've been elsewhere, and that's been really helpful for me in healing. It can be very important. It can be essential to healing. I gaslight myself into thinking the past trauma isn't that bad. Yeah, and we all do that. Like we all have trauma. We all have childhood trauma, and we compare and we think, well, it's not as bad. Like that person, oh my gosh, I can't imagine. Like mine was, my parents just ignored me rather than XYZ that we think is way worse. And like, it's all bad. Being ignored when you're 4 or 7 or 10 is horrible. So is being physically abused, and so is all the other things. I'm not going to say them because I don't want to trigger anybody. Where did you get certified? Curious. I'm a DV researcher. I didn't know that about you. DM me. We should talk. I'm waiting for the email that my portfolio was accepted. Everything is done. So I'm not certified yet. But I'm getting certified through the International Association of Trauma Recovery Coaches. There are a couple other places that do like recovery coaching and things like that. But I really thought that this was the most well organized, well set up. Like there's a governing body. Like if I mess up, you can file a complaint against me. And so I really wanted to be like as qualified as possible to do this because it's like no joke. I didn't want to traumatize anybody by not knowing what I'm doing. So, hey, friend, good to see you live. Thanks, Jackie. I hope you're well. I don't know if you're still in here. I got really behind on that, so I had to catch up. Thank you so much for this info. You're welcome. Journaling helps with ruminations. Yes, absolutely. Let it out. Feeling wheels also help. Very good. Yes, thank you. I appreciate all of the tips and tricks for healing that you are all willing to share with each other. I love that. Writing letters to the other person and throwing them away also helps. Yes, it does. I love that. I'll take screenshots. Oh, I wish I would have read that before because I would have been like, no, I'm just kidding. No problem. I was in an abusive relationship and all those things helped pull me through. Good. I'm so glad. Definitely, it can be a lonely journey, but you'll be stronger afterwards. You got this. Yes, I agree. I agree. It's totally worth it. I left almost a week ago and I'm so sad and I still feel just as empty. It's very, very early. I felt empty for a long time. I want to validate that feeling and for you to know that you're not alone and like please, please, please don't try to give in just because you're lonely. Um, an empty feeling because as you know, you felt that when you were in it too. It will get better, I promise. And we're all different and it might take a couple of weeks, it might take a couple of months. I still have days that I feel empty and it's not necessarily because like that person's not here or whatever. It's because like, what the hell? What the actual hell happened? And like your brain is like, what am I doing? Like, how do I have to deal with this now? Like, this is an ongoing thing. It's a huge undertaking to recover from. So you're not alone. My wife treats me very badly, and I asked her, will you leave me? She said, I don't want to answer. Why? Not sure I understand that one. I'm sorry. How's your relationship with your parents today? My dad passed away when I was 13, and my mom and I are good. We had a very like tumultuous relationship when I was growing up until I was like 18 and I moved out. And then I was like, oh, I kind of do like you. And I figured her out. I figured out like all about her trauma and why she is the way she is. And so she still bothers me. Like she'll do something or not do something. And I'm like, why are you like this? But I know why you're like this. And I know that I'm loved. I know that she loves me. She just doesn't necessarily know how to show me in the way that like I would love to be loved by her. So yeah, I definitely still have moments that I'm like, this is kind of painful. I wish it was different, but completely understand her and why she's like that. And that helps a lot. So, and she really does mean well. And she's a wonderful, beautiful, amazing person who has as much hurt, if not more than I do. And she's been carrying it around a lot longer too. And she just doesn't have the tools or the support to heal. So I honestly block out huge chunks of everyday stage of my life, not purposely. Yeah, dissociation is a very real thing. I have dissociated large chunks of my life away, and I think I'm dissociating a lot less than I ever have, but it's definitely still there. It's your brain's way of keeping you safe. We just have to start to train our brains to let us stay here and to let us feel the things that are yucky so that we can heal them. My trauma is still breaking 21 months later. Yeah, again, it's a very long process. I have people come at me that they're like, I've been out for 20 years and I'm still messed up. Like it's a long process. And it's not to like be like, oh, it's too much. Don't do it. Do it. It's worth it. But it's gonna take us a long time. It's gonna be with us forever, even if it's dulled. Um, it's not something that just you know, we go like for me, it's like, oh, I just got to another month no contact and I didn't even realize it. I just got to another milestone and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even think about it today. I didn't even think about them. I didn't know, whatever. And those are huge things. But 20 years from now, I might have a flashback of something that happened when I was with them and it's still in there. The body keeps score. I have that same relationship with my mother. Yeah, it's hard. My mother-in-law, though, she's the abusive person in my new relationship and it's slowly tearing me apart. Yeah, that's really, really hard. I hate how hard it is to start talking to people, old friends again, after being isolated with a narc. One of my favorite TikToks that I made, like when I first left, was like that. Hey y'all. I know it was like, well, shit, what y'all doing? And it was like, when you first come back after you've been in an abusive relationship and you like realize how isolated you were. And it's so real because you were. And I've rekindled some relationships that I lost, a while ago. And I'm really, really close to those people now. I remember that one. Yay. I like when I, see people that have been around for a while. Um, but it's also some people just don't come back, or you just don't come back for some people. There's people that I realized that I didn't feel safe enough to be honest with. And I don't keep them in my life. I don't want to rekindle those friendships. I feel like I lost a lot of people. Absolutely. I have very few friends now. I'm very selective about who I spend my time with and talk to. I mean, I'll come talk to all of you, but person like face to face, you're probably not going to be it. Like nobody. I'm very selective about who I talk to. So, do people usually have a type when it comes to trauma bonding? Like all partners are similar. So, good question. It's not a type. It's not like a type of person. It's not like a way someone looks or acts or things like that. It's like someone who's probably repeating, like treating you the way a parent or a sibling treated you because that's what you know. So you're repeating the cycle of abuse that was happening when you were little, or like for me to be honest, like with this person, I think I was repeating the cycle that I had with my mom, even though she wasn't abusive, probably like emotionally neglectful because she did not have the tools to take care of me. Um, and so it was like desperately wanting this person to choose me and see me and love me like the way that I wanted my mom to, but that doesn't work. So I don't talk about that very often, but yeah, that would be mine. It's different for everyone. They say people with BPD are attracted to narcs. Not sure how true that is. I don't know if that's true, or not true. I don't know. A lot of people think that it has to be like this. That it's like, so you have the narcissistic person, you have the codependent person, and then it matches. That's not true. That can be true. But a lot of the people I know, a lot of people that like the people who are going to be in Austin, Texas with me at the event, we are not. I am not a codependent person. In fact, I'm highly independent. If you've been watching me since I left, you know that. I am highly independent. Um, I've never been dependent in a relationship or codependent. Like when I was with my son's dad, we spent a lot of time apart. Our relationship was based on that time apart and coming together. It was like, these are the things you're going to take care of in the household. These are the things I'm going to take care of in the household. Um, but also, you can deploy, and I will be perfectly fine without you. If the water heater breaks, I'm going to need to call someone to ask for help, but like, because that's not my forte, but I will run the household. I will take care of my own needs. I will do all of this stuff without you. And I was with him for 6 years. And that's how I am now. I might need to have someone pay for someone to do and it will change. I might need to like like I can't do everything, but I don't depend on another person. But when I was in that relationship with my abuser, I depended on them for everything. But they didn't give me anything. I was codependent AF. So this is what I want to tell you is that I was not codependent going into that relationship. I'm not a codependent person. And I'm not in denial either. Like some people will be like, yes, you are. Like that's how you got into it. I am not. It's crazy. They can go for anybody. And quite often they will go for someone who's not any of those things because they see you doing well and they know that they can take that from you. And they do. They absolutely do. So, not that you're not doing well if you're codependent, like that's just definitely something that needs to be like worked through and you need to be aware of it and all of that stuff. Like I'm not like I'm better than you because I'm not codependent and you are. We're all different, but like you can be anything. You can be anything. You can have almost no education, you could be the most educated person in the world. You could be famous, you could have lots of money, you could be Joe Blow from down the street. It does not discriminate. Any race, uh, what was I gonna say? Any race, any gender, any economic background, any whatever doesn't discriminate. Did I say age? Finally coming to the realization that dissociation plays a huge part in repeating the cycles of yes, absolutely. Hard to avoid something your mind is blocked. Absolutely. Hey, would you ever be willing to message, talk about your relationship experience with someone who's unsure? I get a lot of messages. I do not do one-on-one messages in my DMs. If you want to book an appointment with me, I don't like saying this. I don't have, unfortunately, time to respond to all of the messages. A lot of people reach out and they say, "Hey, can you give me advice?" They write me like paragraphs, and I cannot. I cannot do it. And I feel really, really bad. And on Facebook, I even said, like, "Hey, I don't respond to DMs. I do not, I will not, I can't." So you can book an appointment with me, and I can help you understand what might be going on. I can give you resources, but I don't do like messaging with people. I mean, I get like hundreds of messages every single day. You're definitely the total opposite of codependent. Thanks, Kat. Thanks for seeing me. That means a lot to me because sometimes I feel like I don't feel like I have to like defend myself or like over explain myself that much anymore like I used to. Some people just want to see what they want to see. But like, yeah, I am not codependent at all. And so, yeah, I definitely wanted to clarify that for you because again, it can be anybody. What was your breaking point? Sorry if you've explained this before. I haven't actually said this for a while. When I first left, people asked me that and I made some content about that, but it was the way they treated my son. And I left very quickly. I left the house very quickly, but it took about another week for me to get like physically I had to leave the state because they started acting like super erratically because I left and they didn't quite have someone else lined up. Um, and I knew the moment that they did make a move on someone because they started leaving me alone. And that is how it works. That is how it works. CPTSD and thought she was abusive, but she has me questioning everything. Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it goes. I mean, the night that I left with my son, when they were storming around the house. They were calling him a brat, saying they wanted nothing to do with him. I'm like, he's 3.5 years old. He can hear you. We had someone staying with us, and I attribute that to how we got out safely. And I had this girl pack a bag for my son, keep him in the room, keep him calm, keep him quiet. Close the door. I was like, just, bring him out when he's ready. And it was so cute. She was like, we're gonna pack dad. You're gonna go to daddy's house because we came to my son's dad's house because he was away. He was traveling. So I had a empty house to stay in. And as I was leaving, I had my son in my arms and they got in my face and they said, "You don't have to leave. You're doing this. You're doing this." And the reason that they did that, what that serves to do in my brain is to plant the seed that I'm being dramatic, that I'm making it up, that I'm crazy, that they didn't do anything wrong. Again, I'm overreacting. And so the very next day, I'm pacing the house. My son's just like innocently playing with the toys at his dad's house that he hasn't seen for several weeks because his dad's been gone. I'm pacing and I'm going, I made this up. All my stuff is over there. The dogs are still over there. I have to go back and get the dogs. Why don't I just go back? I am overreacting. They even said when I left, "You're doing this." And guess what? I was able to reach out to someone who had been their partner before. And I said, at the risk of sounding crazy, were you ever physically abused by this person? I wasn't even talking about emotional abuse. That came later when we were like, "Do they do this? Do they do this?" We were able to like connect over everything that happened. They said yes many times. And I knew I wasn't crazy. And not all of us get that. Give it to yourself. Like, we don't want to be reaching out to people who, like, luckily this person followed me on Instagram. It was fate that they followed me on Instagram like a year previous to me leaving. So I knew that they followed me. I knew that I could reach out to them. We weren't like friends or anything, but they did that to make me feel crazy so that I would come back, so that I would be like, "You're right, I overreacted. I went to my son's dad's house. How crazy is that?" Well, here's the kid, poor kid. We're back. And then you stay in it. So the fact that you feel crazy and you're questioning everything is a red flag. It's a red flag. All right, we just hit the hour mark. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go do some stuff for myself. Um, but thank you all so much for your questions and again for trusting me, for being here. I really appreciate all of you and for the platform that you've given me. I will be back probably in a couple of days and we will hang out some more. So, what kind of coaching services will you be able to offer when you get your certificate? I'll just be doing one-on-ones for 30 minutes and 60 minutes. If you want to get on the wait list, you can email me or you can DM me on Instagram. I do respond to DMs on Instagram. Again, I won't give advice, but I can give you resources. And I should say I try to. But if you want to schedule that, you want to get on the list, reach out to me. Hoping to hear back soon. It's been a couple of weeks. Um, but you can either just do a one-time thing or you can do ongoing. So look forward to that. As soon as I get that information, I'll be making videos to let you all know that I'm available. I will be taking limited clients because I have a lot on my plate. So if you want to get in on that, definitely like get on the list. All right. Take care, everybody. Drink some water.